What's up, guys? Tim Little. Welcome back to Tactical Bass. In today's video, we are talking about my top 5 baits for the month of September. September. Hopefully, that means cooler nights, right? We're gonna start thinking about that fall transition, start thinking about those fish up chasing bait balls, chasing schools of shad up shallow, catching them on topwaters and crankbaits and chatterbaits. But more importantly, cooler evenings, the water temps start to drop and those fish start to get active. They start thinking about that fall transition and they get on the move and they are chasing bait down. And it is a great time to be out on the water. Again, all summer long, it's been hot. Water temps are hot. These fish are looking for a little bit of a break. They're looking forward to that cooler water. I'm looking forward to that cooler weather. This breeze feels great. It is a great time to be out on the water. So heading into September, my top 5 confidence baits. Now, you guys know that this is always a challenge for Matt and I, trying to limit our boat, our tackle box to just 5 techniques. But I'm getting better at it. You guys should be proud of me. I'm trying to limit it to just 5 techniques, which I did. I did throw in a couple extras just for different scenarios, whether you're fishing open water versus grass, so you kind of see that play out in some of these techniques. But my #1 technique for the month of September is going to be a topwater. For the reasons I just explained, these fish are getting active. They're up chasing bait balls, whether you're chasing spotted bass out over 100 feet of water on shad balls blowing up on top, or you're in the very back of a cut on a delta or a river system fishing grass. Fish like to eat topwater, and more importantly, I like to catch fish on topwater. So if you're that grass guy, if you've been fishing all summer long in the grass, this shouldn't be a surprise to you. A frog, okay? It's one of the best ways to catch them in that thick, heavy vegetation. Now, with the water temps and the air temps dropping, a lot of times that means with that cooler water, we're gonna start having that grass die off. So pay attention and keep looking for that lively grass. If you're fishing an entire bay of grass, look for that bright green stuff and look for that stuff that's near hard cover, because as that water, the water temps drop or the water levels drop, sometimes if we start getting into that transition, that grass starts to die and those fish will pull out of that grass into that hard cover. But as they are in the grass still, we're going with a frog. That's that snag proof, that Bobby's Perfect frog. You guys know that we love that. That is a frog that was redone a couple years ago, and it is an awesome frog. An alternative for you, if you're a guy that is fishing that big bay of grass and you're trying to find those active fish, try throwing this guy. This is the Spro Flapping Frog. They put some paddle tail feet on there. It's kind of like that. It's not Elastec, but it's a lot like that stretchy material. But this is a frog that allows you to cover a ton of water. It's a lot like fishing like a whopper plopper or a buzzbait. This floats, has the paddle tail feet, but you can cover a lot of that grass. So if you're trying to find bass that are in a large area of grass, this allows you to cover a ton of water, and it works really, really well right now, okay? On the flip side, if you're that guy that's out there chasing those spotted bass blowing up on shad balls over 150 feet of water, you don't need a frog, you need a walking bait. Any walking bait. I like the Shower Blows 105. That's just been my confidence bait over the years. But any of your favorite walking style baits, I'll link some of my favorites down below. But this is probably my favorite. You guys know how much we talk about this, specifically in that chrome color. Again, these fish are up chasing those herring or those threadfin shad or silver side. They have a lot of flash. Okay, so they're gonna be chasing that flashy bait. Now, if it does become overcast, then you can switch to your darker colors or your bone colors. But if I had to choose one, it'd be this guy right here. See, not too bad. We're already through the first category. We talked about a walking bait and we talked about a frog. Two different options, open water, grass. Next up, my number 2 bait is gonna be some type of crankbait. Same situation. If you're out in deeper water or you're in that highland reservoir with clear water, less vegetation, fish typically are gonna be, typically in those clear or those highland reservoirs, lowland reservoirs, you're gonna have clearer water, which means those fish are gonna be down in that color line. They're gonna be out off that break. So down in that 15, 18, 20 foot of water, right where that color line breaks off, a little bit deeper, a little bit cooler water. Go with a Rapala DT16. Just giving you one. Go in like a shad color or a baitfish color. Works great. Cover lots of water. That's kind of that's a crankbait that's in between like a Strike King 6XD and like our tactical DD crank. So we'll have like that Strike King 6XD is an awesome summertime bait. Well, they're all great summertime baits. That's probably the best summertime bait. A lot of wide wobble action. As we get into the cooler months, we're gonna start kind of transitioning to tighter wobble crankbaits. And then as we get into wintertime, we'll talk about, those real tight wobble crankbaits. But this is kind of right there in the middle between the tactical DD and the Strike King 6XD. This is a great all-around crankbait. And then for you guys that are up shallow, one of my favorite ways to catch them in the month of September is super shallow. Whether that's the water dropping a little bit and brings that grass to the surface, or these fish get all the way in the back and they push those bait balls in the very back super shallow. I'm either catch them on top water or this guy right here. This is the Demiki BTC 50. Very, very small crankbait. More importantly, ultra shallow crankbait. You can fish this thing basically in the dirt, less than a foot of water. So if you find yourself where you pull in the back of a cut and you see them waking, they're not necessarily blowing up, but you see the V's or the wakes of them pushing those bait fish into the shallows. You see the fish blowing up or the bait fish landing on the shoreline. This guy right here can be fished super shallow, and this is going to be a player. A lot of these baits are going to be player all the way through fall, but be the first guy to be throwing a super shallow square bill right now, and you guys will catch fish. But that guy right there, the BTC 50, in some of my like bait fish colors, bluegill, panfish, or shad colors, that guy is money. 2 down. I'm not going to switch them. Number 3, some kind of underspin. No surprise there, right? If sticking with these same situations, whether you're at grass or around brush piles or docks or cover, right? We're going with the owner flashy swimmer paired up with your favorite paddle tail swim bait. Mine tends to be this X-Zone Swammer. This is a Tennessee shad color. Just works really, really well on the fisheries I fish. Works great on just about every fishery I've ever fished. But that Swammer has a lot wider kick. We've explained this through the years versus a Kitech. Just a little bit different body roll and kick. The fish just eat them up. Again, the purpose of this, it is weedless. You can fish it around those brush piles, around those laydowns, around that grass, through that grass. Adds a little bit of vibration, a little bit of flash, and gets the job done. On the flip side, open water fishermen, clear water fishermen, this guy right here. This is the tactical, this is our little mini underspin paired up with a Crush City Mayor. This is a recent release. Is a great little swim bait. That is the 3-inch. That specifically is the deal, okay? So that little pairing right there will get the job done, whether you're offshore chasing those fish on those bait balls or you're up shallow but you don't have a lot of grass, you need that exposed hook, or they're on the real small bait. that guy right there is my go-to exposed hook underspin. But adding that flash, adding that vibration makes your swim bait stand out from the thousands of real baits swimming around. Just catches their attention. Number 4, I'm gonna go with a chatterbait. Whether it's a baitfish color or a bluegill color, panfish color, these are my go-to chatterbaits. Whether it's the jackhammer or the Z-Man, the Evo Elite, these are my go-to chatterbaits. They work extremely well. Paired up with a 4.5 or a 5.5 spunk shad. You guys know that this is the chatterbait trailer. Underwater footage proves it. Fish catching proves it. It's just amazing how well it works in unison with that blade vibrating, okay? But bluegill colors, baitfish colors, this comes to play in and around that grass. A lot of times, summertime, September, you're at the end of summer, you have a lot of vegetation in the water. This comes through or over the top or around the grass lines very, very well. So got 2 different colors for you. Baitfish, bluegill, panfish, those guys right there are the deal. Number 5. Again, it is so hard to limit this to 5 techniques. And like I said, I did fairly well. I gave you guys a couple options in each category, but for the most part, I limited it a lot for you guys. Try to keep it as extremely limited and as simple for you as possible. So my number 5, this was really hard because it's like, do you go drop shot? Do you go shaky head? Do you go Texas rig creature bait? No. Soft plastic jerkbait. This is awesome this time of the year. You guys have probably seen us fishing a lot of flukes, or this guy right here, the X-Zone whiplash shad, in a lot of our recent fishing videos because they just get eaten. The fish just eat them. Again, you're throwing these fish with the higher water temps. These fish are buried in that grass, or they're in the deep, darkest parts of these docks, or in the brush, the lay down brush or the grass. Being able to rig a jerkbait, weedless, rip, 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 pause, let that thing die down, rip, pause, let that thing do its death spiral. The fish just come unglued for these things. Even though it's September, even though we got hot water temps still, a soft plastic jerkbait is always rigged this time of the year for me. So 2 of them for you. No stranger, that is the Zoom Super Fluke. That is an amazing soft plastic jerkbait. Rigged on a 3/0 or 4/0 super lined hook, adds a little bit of weight to the belly, gives that bait some keel to it. You can get really, really erratic, really aggressive, and get this thing just moving and hopping and skipping all over the place. That thing is a proven, for decades, is a proven fish catcher. As of late, I've been throwing this guy right here. This is the X-Zone whiplash shad. You can see it's quite a bit bigger than the traditional Zoom Super Fluke. You guys see that? Look at this bait. See how much softer, so much more dense the fluke is? This is great for your really fast, really aggressive working techniques or retrieves. This guy right here, I've been fishing it a lot lately. It is super soft. You fish it a little bit different. It's like a rip, let it fall, rip, let it fall. It has a lot wider action, lot slower action, but it mimics a dying bait fish extremely well. And it wasn't until as of late, playing around with rigging and you know, how far do I put that hook down the belly? Do I put it more weight forward to get this thing to dive? Or do I rig it deeper in, deeper down into the belly to kind of get this thing to fall more horizontal and level. But when you play around with rigging, I've never seen another soft plastic jerkbait do what this bait does. I talked about it in one of my, I don't know, maybe a month or so ago. I was fishing this in a fishing video. I was fishing it in relatively clear water, and I would rip or just do a reel twitch, let it fall. It would kind of stall out, and then it would do the Senko shimmy. You know that really cool kind of shimmy that a Senko does that makes it stand out from all the other stick baits in the category? This guy does it. I couldn't believe it. It looks so good shimmying as it's falling down. It's not falling down super, you know, horizontal just like a Senko would. It's not falling like this. It's falling like this, but it's also doing that shimmy as it falls and spirals. I've never seen another bait like it. I've never seen a bait like that, a fluke style bait, do what this bait does. So 2 different baits in this category, both fish extremely well, but extremely different. Okay, you can get real erratic with this, but man, this thing is magical when you poof, poof, let it fall, shimmy, 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 and fall, and then pop it through the grass, let it fall. Whereas this is like a pause. You get this thing bouncing out of the jumping out of the surface, skipping, diving down into the grass, popping it through, side to side action, a lot more aggressive, but both of these will produce fish for you for the month of September. Guys, that's it. I think I did fairly well. 5 techniques: a topwater, a crankbait, an underspin, a chatterbait, and a soft plastic jerkbait. If you guys try these baits, depending on the different types of fisheries you're fishing throughout the country, you will have success on one of these techniques, I promise. Guys, as always, I will link these products, my favorite colors, the rigging stuff, all that good stuff down below in the video description. Have links that you can go right to Tackle Warehouse. You can see big HD pictures of these baits if it doesn't show up well in the camera. But these are my September confidence baits. As always, guys, thanks for watching. We appreciate the support. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, hit that like button. Down below in the comment section, I want to hear what your favorite month of September bait is. What is your confidence bait, your technique, and the bait in that technique? And then guys, as always, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, click that bell so you guys know when we're putting out new content. Matt and I, we put 6 videos a week out on different platforms. On YouTube, we're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We got shorts Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then we have videos on other platforms going up all the time. So follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, on TikTok. Guys, we appreciate you. Thanks for watching this video, and we will see you guys on the next one.